Good morning, everyone. Yes, today the class is little early. Good morning. All of you smile. Very big smile. Everybody. Yeah? Have you smiled? Good morning, everybody. Hope you have logged on. As I told yesterday, I'm starting the class little bit earlier. All right? Yeah, good morning. Good morning, Yashaswini. Now, see, first of all, see, this slide I have not forwarded. I'll forward it soon. First of all, I want to tell you something about. I want to today talk about WTO, World Trade Organization. Good morning, everybody. Yes, yes, I got the smiles. Yes, Ashwini. Yes, um, I'll concentrate. Hope you are all happy, healthy, staying at home. Let's break the chain all. Yeah, Yamma. I'll start now. See, today I want to talk to you about the WTO, World Trade Organization. Now, when I talk to you about WTO, it becomes necessary for me to go on and tell you why international business and international trade is important in today's world. First one, first is that it makes use of abundant raw materials. See, Hexler-Ohlin theory, like I taught you a couple of days ago, talks about the abundance of raw material, certain kind of raw material in certain countries. For example, if you look at oil, the Gulf countries like Qatar, Oman, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, UAE, all these countries have an abundance of oil, whereas others don't. So this oil will be shared by others. Metals and fish in Iceland. Okay, the Congo and other many African countries have diamonds. New Zealand has butter and all New Zealand, Australia, and I think Netherlands. They all have an abundance of products, or milk products like butter, and they make milk powder, excuse me, out of the excess milk, like that. So, if see, sometimes it becomes like a banana republic where agrarian products will not get, see, the milk will not be milk that Netherlands or New Zealand produces, cannot all be consumed in the country. All right. They also have, not only that, whether they have, Ravish, good morning. It doesn't matter whether they have a lot of population or less population. For the amount or the amounts of milk that is produced, it cannot be all consumed there. So, if this milk was not to be, and the milk, so they make milk, they make butter, they make milk powder. I remember having this Nido milk from Netherlands when I was in Kuwait. So all this cannot be sold if there is if international trade was not there. So even now, if you look at the Gulf countries, if they were not able to sell oil, then how would the economy run? How would they get food? How would they get rice from India? Or vegetables from some other country, or it comes from Sri Lanka, from Bangladesh. Vegetables are found there, or exported to to these countries. So without trade, the natural endowments, given God-given endowments, would be useless. It becomes like yes, Bharat. It becomes like a banana republic. So, so it's the HO model, Hexler-Ohlin model, which I gave you the other day. States countries will specialize in producing and exporting goods which use abundant local farmers. Okay, countries will import those goods whose resources are scarce. Kishan, good morning. Now, next is comparative advantage. I have taught you about comparative advantage. India has lower labor costs. It will have a comparative advantage in labor intensive production, like call centers, manufacturer of clothing, shoes, etc. Many multinationals manufacture, say Nike, for example, they manufacture their shoes in along in South India. Also, in Bangalore, you have even Victoria's Secret garments are manufactured in Bangalore. So because of the lower cost of labor, okay, this is comparative advantage theory, and then there is greater choice for consumers. Suppose you are see you may excuse me, the consumers in India have a greater choice of drinking these soft drinks that are carbonated, like Pepsi, Cola. Before we had Parley-based products like Thumbs Up, etc., Gold Spot, and Thumbs Up, Gold Spot, and Limca. Now you have the Mazda. Mazda is not a carbonated drink. You have the Fanta, and you have the Mirinda from Pepsi, Fanta from Coca-Cola, and such the drinks. It's like we'll not talk about whether it's good or bad. We are talking about the fact that consumers have more choice. All right, all this kind of things. So clothing, for example, Gucci, Chanel, etc. Fashion labels are in India, etc. Then McDonald's, KFC, etc. It's like you have another, some more, Rajesh, good morning, some more choice of eating food, fast food, etc. Now, specialization and economies of scale. When there is specialization, there is greater efficiency. What is specialization? When you keep on producing the same thing or keep on working on the same thing, you specialize. You have more efficient ways of manufacturing. The best example I can think of is IKEA. IKEA is a Swedish furniture manufacturer. What IKEA did, it thought of told you the ERPG orientations: ethnic, region, polycentric, regiocentric. E is for ethnocentric, R is for regiocentric, P is for polycentric, G is for geocentric, etc. Now, IKEA thought of going internationally in the ethnocentric way. IKEA manufactures furniture, excellent furniture, and they manufacture modular furniture. You can move these modules how you want in your kitchen or anywhere in the house. You don't have to have the cupboard in the same area or a shoe rack in the same area. These parts can be transferred wherever you want it. You want to change the look of your room, you can transfer. And IKEA is also pretty reasonable. As I told you, when I was in Kuwait, I had bought a cube. Take a cube, buy a cube or something, it said in IKEA. So imagine a cube, iron, like wrought iron black cube, uh, you know, completely, the full surface is complete with just simple small pores like you get on the back or seat of chairs these days. So imagine this cube, only two faces are not there. So I could keep it in the corner of my apartment was blank. Nothing could stand there. So I could fix the cube there. It was one Kuwaiti dinar for one cube. In the next month, I had three more dinars to spare. In that one cube, I had kept newspapers and flowers. So in the next time, I bought three more cubes and stacked it one over the other. So what happened is, good morning, Barele. What happened is, on the top one, I kept my flowers, and next I kept the telephone. Below that, I kept some books, and below I kept old newspapers. So you can use the corner of your room or anywhere you want, something like that. Corner, it suits very well. And it was affordable. See, salaried people like us can buy IKEA. It is quite affordable and beautiful looking furniture, extremely well made too. Now, I'm not advertising for IKEA, I'm just giving you an example. And then the Ingvar Kamprad, I remember seeing in the newspapers some years ago, and the news article said that Ingvar Kamprad was richer than Bill Gates. And how did Ingvar Kamprad's wealth be calculated? The newspaper, the media had calculated Ingvar Kamprad's. Ingvar Kamprad is the founder, owner of IKEA. His wealth was calculated by the media. He had it was not something that he had declared. So whatever they saw, they had calculated, and they may have been far lesser than what he really had. And this was they said Ingvar Kamprad in this so-called media calculated wealth was richer than Bill Gates. All right, he was richer than Bill Gates. So this is how did he become so rich? Because specialization in manufacturing furniture, he had developed simple work, standard operating procedures, and working methods, etc., that allowed, and he gave franchises to people all over the world. This allowed people to manufacture IKEA furniture in a very cost effective way, and they could sell it at the same way. He trained his company. IKEA trained people, whoever took his franchise, to manufacture furniture in a cost effective way. Is that okay? Okay, so Apple designs their computers in the US but contract the production to Asian factories. Trade enables a product to have multiple country sources. See, I told you about Honda. Honda has car manufacturing facilities in 5 different countries in Europe. And in the fifth country, it assembles all the parts to make the car. All right. So this is some kind of strategy, to have a presence in more than one country. At the same time, European Union facilities are in all the countries. All right. So there it is. Service sector trade also happens in insurance, IT services, and banking. Then international business leads to global growth and economic development. Now, why is a regulatory body necessary for international business? Is a natural sequence to what I'm telling. So I thought of telling a little bit about this first. I will send you this slide. I haven't sent you this slide. There are only about 6 slides here. Now, please go to the WTO slide. Now, yesterday, I see whenever I do the WTO and the World Bank, I prefer to go into their websites and download the latest information. So this WTO slides are from whatever information I've got are from the WTO website. So the World Trade Organization, the status now, it is in location is in Geneva, Switzerland. It was established on January 1, 1995. It is created by the Uruguay round negotiations, which started in about 1996 to 94. The membership currently is 164 members, that is, member countries, meaning so many countries are members of WTO. These 164 countries represent 98% of world trade as of 30th September 2018. Budget now currently is 197 million Swiss francs in 2018. The secretariat, they have a secretariat. Naturally, it has to run, isn't it? They need an office. So the office staff is 630. The head is Roberto Azevedo, right? He's the Director General. WTO has a Director General, and that is his name. And I've given you a photograph also there. Now, come to the next slide. You have the whole picture. You can currently, if I go to explain, it will be confusing. So we will go on into the next slide. What does WTO do? The functions are, first of all, WTO has trade agreements. What are these agreements, etc.? I will talk to you in the coming slides. So, whatever trade agreements have been made by WTO with different countries, these trade agreements are implemented. Administering them means seeing that they are implemented. There is a forum for trade negotiations, all right. Whenever there is a negotiation, the negotiation between countries is necessary, and the countries find it difficult to negotiate. Negotiation does not always mean solving of a conflict. It can essentially mean that I want to sell product A to your country. What are you offering? This is are you how many tons you want to buy, something like this. Okay. So sometimes the language may be difficult. Sometimes people's policies may be difficult, and though they may want to put up a price or something like that. They may not want foreigners entering into their countries. There are various difficulties. So there is a forum for trade negotiations at the WTO. Then, importantly, it handles trade disputes also. All right. See, disputes are there. See, so what happens is, I remember once when I was there was one, I forget the name of the um, company who registered, insurance company who registered this shipment. There were prawns, a whole shipment of some kind of food. I think it was prawns that was being sent from India to Kuwait. An Indian insurance company had insured this shipment. It was worth quite a lot. The freezers of the so called ship failed, so the containers could not be kept cool. The food became bad, and naturally it will stink. So it had to be dumped into the ocean, and this container was paid for by the Crown Prince of Kuwait, and naturally his officers claimed compensation, and the Indian insurance company nearly went bankrupt paying for this consignment. So if the company had said we are not going to pay, then there's a dispute, isn't it? Or if the person who sent it had was to say that okay, my company will pay me, why should they pay you, or something like this. Whatever dispute can arise, they say it is the shipping company's mistake that the freezers were not up to the mark or something like that. Or they can put it on somebody else, whoever did the maintenance. If there's a maintenance company who does the maintenance of the ship's freezers, so they can pass on the buck. And that time there can be trade disputes as to who is responsible or who has to make do the losses for the concerned party. So these trade disputes are handled by the WTO. Also, if you remember, I talked to you about extraterritoriality in the case of the shrimps being sold from India and four other nations to the US, where the US said India and other countries who export prawns to them should essentially use turtle friendly nets in the fishing. Only we will, America had said that they would import prawns or shrimp from countries which were using, only countries who are using turtle friendly nets. So India and other countries had gone to court. Yeah. Thank you, Father. So had gone to court, and they had said that see, you cannot dictate terms. As I told you, India's borders, there are 200 this thing miles, nautical miles. It belongs to India. So what we do in our waters is not your concern. So they won the case. So there is handling disputes, then monitoring trade policies. This also, as I come down, I'll tell you. Some technical assistance and training for developing economies. See, some economies, for example, WTO has been responsible for, in doing this training people, has been responsible for empowering, yeah, empowering women also. See, there are some, if you see in Ladakh, women, one thing is, no, Ladakh example would not be WTO example, it's an India based example. Mm, in some countries, there is some handicrafts that are manufactured. I'm basically talking about African countries. Their WTO helps them to develop this trade and to sell it internationally. So this is also this, and technical assistance also is given. Then cooperation with other international organizations. All right. Now we come to trade negotiations. See, I cannot remember everything because these are some points with statistics. So I look at your slide. The World Trade Organizations came into being in 1995. It is one of the youngest international organization. It is a takeoff from GATT, General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade. So while the multilateral trading system was originally set up under the GATT is 70 years old. Now, for the World Bank and the WTO, I have to say something. Now, see, during the First World War, a lot of lives were lost. Now, international economy came to a standstill. Why? See, there is a little history involved. Please listen carefully. International economy came to a standstill. Why? Because most of all the countries who were fighting the war stopped most of their production in other industrial products and instructed the major companies under them to stop all production and produce only arms, ammunition, and this thing, fighter planes, etc., fighter planes, tanks, etc., to manufacture that for the sake of the war. So even agriculture did not happen. All right. Now, 1914 to 1918 was the war. Let us look at the situation in 1918. In 1918, what happened is most of Europe had stopped manufacturing food. So agriculture was not at all, not at all done in the 4 years. So then what happened? They looked towards America. Why did they look towards America? Because America had not joined the war, and their economy was steady. So what happened is now we are talking about how the Great Depression happened, etc., etc. Now, what happened is when the European countries looked towards the US for food, America is a big country, and the farmers started growing more and more food in order to supply it to the European states, European countries. So the first year is fine, the second year is fine, and see, people will not keep quiet and keep on buying food, which is not very cheap. Importing food is not very cheap. So naturally, they started growing their own food, and suddenly the US farmers found that they had grown so much food that there were no takers. Okay, this was one of the reasons that went into the Great Depression. There was food, but there was no money to buy the food. All right, and then there was a great bubble burst of the stock exchange. It was called the Black Thursday. Some call it the Black Wednesday, and then it went on to Thursday. We There was stock exchange bubble burst. 600 banks closed in the US. 600, imagine. Now, there are reasons why banks close. All right. I was telling you there are only two reasons why banks close. If you see the recent Yes Bank example, you will see that there is one more reason why banks close. And that's a very selfish reason. The two reasons why banks closes, first of all, the first reason is if the shareholders, the customers, they lose faith in the bank and say they want their money back. If people say we want their money, we want our money back, the bank will have no money for transaction, etc., and that's why the bank will fail. All right, Sharath, good morning. And the second reason why they can fail is, see, when Mr. A deposits 1 lakh in the bank will tell him, I'll give you 5% interest. Now the bank has to re-deposit that, reinvest that 1 lakh along with others' money into a place which gives the bank 5% to pay to Mr. A plus the expenses of their Sepide, expenses of the bank like administrative charges, salaries, etc., plus a profit for the bank. So let us say the bank has to invest this 1 lakh in a place, usually in gilt-edged securities, that is government issued securities. I've talked to you about gilt-edged securities before. If not, please let me know. I'll talk to you next time. Or I'll tell you, the gilt-edged securities are so called because many years ago, when the government issued these certificates, they used to give the edges. And now you know your project books and all. You make those golden kind of caps. Those caps were made of real gold. It seems. That's why they call it gilt-edged securities. Now we call them gilt-edged because they are safe, because they are issued by the government. So imagine the bank goes and puts Mr. A's invests this Mr. A's money into gilt-edged securities that gives them say about 9%, 10%. Now you may ask me, why should the government issue gilt-edged securities? See, government always needs money for development, so it looks for loan type of kind of thing, and that's why the government issues these gilt-edged securities. They will take money. The merchant bank is involved in all this. So in merchant banks, they are involved in all this. In between they become mediators many times, and the banks give the government the money, and they get the interest for a certain sum of years, as the case may be. That's not very important. So what happens is Mr. A is safe because he gets his 5%. So these are the two reasons why banks fail. If you look at the recent case of Yes Bank, why did the bank fail? Because so much of a loan was given, and the bank expected, as is reported in the newspapers. I'm telling you, we don't know the facts, but the facts that what the newspapers tell us is the bank gave the loan to people with the expectation of kickbacks. All right. So, for example, this bank said, I'll give you 10 lakhs, and in that 50,000 should come back to me as whatever. All right. So, this was a reason why this bank failed. So, I cannot tell you that there are only two reasons why banks fail. There is this selfish reason also, getting rich the quick way, as reported by the newspapers. Okay, we cannot talk like that. So there we are. So then we'll come back to here. I was telling you about First World War and what happened. So there was a lot of loss of life also. Now, in 1918 onwards, see, as I told you, this one situation was the food situation. Next, people started manufacturing again. BMW, for example, they started manufacturing their cars, etc. Everybody started manufacturing. And then what happened is the people wanted to do international trade. But there was no, in 1920, you had the League of Nations, but the League of Nations was not very powerful, as we have seen. It receded into the United Nations. The United Nations had strength, and this I will tell you along with the World Bank. You connect this thing, dates and the years of the birth of the World Bank with the birth of the United Nations also. Please connect it so you'll understand. So in 1920, etc., what happened is, before the League of Nations was started, because what happened between 1918 and 1920 in history was like this. See, people did do international trade, but it was not regulated. There was no common exchange. Okay, the Bank of England used to exchange, and Bank of the sterling pound was very strong. The Bank of England used to exchange. But what happened is there was so much pressure on the Bank of England that suddenly one day it said, sorry, can't do. And before that, before in 1875, 1880, it was the gold standard. You know what is the gold standard. So this exchange rate was very difficult to this thing peg, and countries played beggar thy neighbor policies. Suppose country A was buying, say, toothpaste from country B. Toothpaste is my favorite example, easy to remember. Say country A was buying toothpaste from country B at rupees 20 for 100 grams. Now, what happens is country C will go and tell country A, why you buying at 20? I'll give you, since you're buying so much, huge tons, I'll give you for 19 rupees. All right. So A will say, why should I buy from B? I will buy from C. And it starts buying from C. That time country D or country B will come and say, yeah, why should that country C sell it for 19? I can sell it for 18. So there are two countries or one country offering for 18 and one country for 17 and 16 and 15. So what happens? Country A will have, is spoiled for choice. So it will start making its own demands, all right, which isn't very good. Whereas B, C, and D are losing. They cannot afford to give it at 15, but all three of them are offering the 100 grams for 15, which was 20 before. So what happens in the bargain? Everyone is beggar and no one has trade now, right? So this was what was happening. So the League of Nations was started. Then, but the League of Nations was not very effective, as you know. The world went on into the Second World War. There was in we will not talk about the Great Depression of the United States and all that. What happened in the United States? If you wish me, I can tell you what happened in the class. All right. Now, you ask me, I'll let you know. Or if you want me to talk about it, I will talk to you in one of the next classes. Please let me know. But that will be not really international business. So once I finish my syllabus, if you wish to know, I can tell you all about the gold standard. I'll come back and talk to you about the gold standard, the foreign exchange, etc. when I do the international financial management topic, which I'm going to do very soon. Once I finish this, there's a sequence to which I'm going. Okay. Now let's go on and talk about where we. Yeah, yeah. I was talking to you about, yeah. So here we are. The GAT came in, and yeah. Then next, go to the next slide. The system was developed through a series of trade negotiations or rounds held under the GATT. All right. Then later on, what happened? These negotiations, GATT and all, was not powerful enough. So from 1986 to 1994, there were talks, and these talks resulted in the United this one WTO. So the some kind of I told you what are the functions. Let's talk about the functions. Uh, See, there are some there are ministerial meetings in the WTO, and these ministerial meetings decide very. There are some decisive actions taken by the ministerial councils. In 2000, there were talks on agriculture and services. If you remember, I think our Minister of State, Dayanidhi Maran, was represented. Uh, Dayanidhi Maran, I'm forgetting his first name, Mr. Maran. He was India's representative in Doha. So WTO has rules on non-agricultural tariffs, trade and environment, anti-dumping and subsidiaries, trade facilitation, etc., etc. See, my job is to tell you what you cannot know, so give you extra knowledge about these general ministerial conferences, etc. You can just read. I've given you sufficient this one. A revised government procurement agreement was adopted at the WTO's eighth ministerial conference in 2011, expanded the coverage of the original agreement by an estimated 100 billion US dollars a year. So you have the ninth one in Bali in 2013, where trade facilitation and slashing of red tapeism across borders was done. What do you mean by red tapeism? See, this is a very cute thing. See, red tapeism means when somebody says, "Let me pass it on to my senior, to my senior, to my senior," etc. And what can be done in very few minutes, it takes few days or a few months, etc. This is the actual meaning of red tapeism. But why is it called red tapeism? Imagine you give an application to a clerk or a case worker. He takes a file, he closes it, and he ties a red ribbon. Okay? And this file goes from desk to desk to desk to desk. So this red ribbon gave the name for red tapeism. Funny, huh? Okay, so WTO tries to slash red tapeism because bureaucracy is pretty bad, isn't it? Okay. Now you just read this. We have WTO agreements on goods. You see this. Then you have on services. It's called General Agreement on Trade and Services (GATS). Yeah, then you have IPRs. Remember WIPO. Dispute settlements. I told you about dispute settlements. We have trade monitoring. All right. They monitor the trade. There may be quotas. There may be non-tariff barriers. So WTO's trade policy review mechanism is designed to improve transparency. All right. And assess the impact of their decisions also is there. All right. It was generally launched in the wake of the financial crisis of 2008. If you wish, I can explain to you in when I come to the class, or if you want me to explain how the. But it is not part of international business. In international financial management, I can explain to you the economic crisis of 2008 and how it happened. There were some very beautiful reasons for why it happened, and we have to learn from those examples. So when I do international financial management, I will talk to you about how why the economic crisis happened. It should be in a couple of days. Okay. Also, trade capacities and technical assistance and training of what I've told you is done. So I think that is all the technicalities of WTO you can learn, but generally this is all we have to learn about WTO. Do you think I have time, class, for talking about World Bank? Open the slide of World Bank, because there's a meeting at 12. I have to teach the juniors as well. Now, look at the World Bank. I have also taken material for World Bank, new slides I create every year, and I've taken it from the World Bank group. All right, and the World Bank website has been updated on January 24, 2020. See, World Bank is an international organization, naturally, that helps emerging market countries to reduce poverty. All right, World Bank is aimed at emerging countries to reduce poverty. Ending extreme poverty is its goal. It says that if you look at World Bank website, World Bank wants no more than 3% of people to live on 1.9 American dollar a day or less by 2030. It says by 2030, no less than 3% of the people should have at least $2 a day. Its second goal is to, by 2030, second goal is to promote shared prosperity. There shouldn't be prosperity on one side and poverty on the other. So whatever prosperity is there, it has to be shared. It wants to improve the incomes of the bottom 40% of the population in each country. Since 1947, that's when the World Bank started, in around 1945, 1947. The World Bank has funded more than 12,000 projects. 12,000 big. It's not a bank in the conventional sense of the word. Remember, World Bank. It consists of two organizations, the IFC and the IBRD. IFC is the International Finance Corporation. Wait, wait. Wait. I made a mistake. It is IDA and IBRD. All right. The World Bank consists of two organizations, IBRD and IDA. Okay. IBRD is the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, where it provides loans, credits, and grants. The second is the International Development Organization. This is famous for giving soft loans to low income countries. I repeat, the World Bank as itself is not a World Bank, is not a bank. It has two components. The first one is the IBRD, International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, which gives guarantees, loans, sorry, not guarantees, grants, loans, and credits. All right. And the second one is International Development Association. And this one is known for giving soft loans to low income countries. What do you mean by soft loans? Loans that need not be paid back, actually, if you're talking about practically. All right. This is how it goes on. So the World Bank also, see Masood, this is your answer. The World Bank also works closely with three other organizations. The IFC, which provides advice and investment advice and asset management to companies and governments. Next, the MIGA, Multinational Investment Guarantee Agency. It provides international insurance. And ICSID, that is International Center for the Settlement of Investment Disputes. The bank's 189 member countries share the ownership, where the United States has a controlling voting interest. How? See, with every bit of money that you give to contribute, see, the members can give your contribution. All right? Suppose India gives 20 units. Imagine a country like France gives 35 units. So America has the controlling interest. So imagine America has given 100, 100 of these units. So these units, financial units contributed by the countries, member countries, are the basic funding of the bank. All right. Also, the number of financial units you give determines your voting power. If India, as I said, has given 20, India has 20 votes. If France has 35, France has 35 votes. We are saying here US has the controlling power. See, with the example I've given, US has 100 units, so 100 votes it has got. Do you understand? So class, I think it is 10:34. I today you have to excuse me. I cannot continue this class because I have to take the juniors class and be ready. Suppose their problem exceeds 1 hour, then I have to be ready. And today the class was like technical, and I don't want you to forget what you learned about the WTO. So you'll concentrate on the WTO. Tomorrow I will come back and I will talk to you all about the regulating institutions for world trade or for international business. All right. Yeah. I'm glad, Masood, I got your message. Good. Now, please, I have to say bye. And juniors, I'm coming on in 5 minutes. All right. Keep smiling, everybody. What kind of smile? Year to year. Beautiful smile from year to year. All of you. Yeah. We will conquer. Hum honke kamyab. We will overcome. Stay at home, stay safe, stay healthy, keep the social distancing. Please abide by whatever the government tells you. It is for our, yeah, it is for our, you know, for our sakes, isn't it? It is for our children. Think of our children. Think of your siblings, your younger brothers, sisters. Think of your parents, the old people at home. See, if someone contracts this coronavirus, imagine it will be so painful. We cannot even go and see them in hospital. They will be in quarantine. It will be a pathetic situation. We will suffer. They will suffer. It is, please don't even think about it. It's so dangerous and so serious situation. Please don't make light of the situation. Stay at home. Okay? I'm sure you all are used to it now. And just stay at home. See, at least we have the internet. During the time of the plague and all that, there was nothing, and people did not even know there was no communication. Imagine the government had to use one something like this, and they had to blare the sound and say do this, do that. Today we have the TV, we have the internet, we are educated on the TV. The government tells us what is a myth, what isn't, everything. And we have the, don't spread nonsense on WhatsApp. All right. I don't know why we forward at all unless it is something very good. Every forward on WhatsApp need not be read also, and every forward need not be forwarded. A forward is to be just deleted many times. Every forward doesn't mean forward it again. That is not the meaning of a forward. Of course, FORWARD means that, but don't do it. All right. And let's keep our mental health also good. We cannot be depressed. We have to be happy, healthy, isn't it? Yeah. So all of you smile again, seniors. I will come on again in 5 minutes for juniors. Thank you. God bless all of you. Okay. Love you all. Take care. We are holding hands. Remember, Uh, we are always there for you. All your teachers are always there for you. Any problem, you can contact any of us. All right. God bless you. Bye, class. See you tomorrow at 10.